Hi, I'm Danielle Blum, and I'm here with Matthew Gray on 50 Taste of Gray. That's a tongue twister. Okay. Hi, I'm Danielle Blum, and I'm here with Matthew Gray on 50 Taste of Gray, talking books, fun, food, and all the fabulous things in life. Like, I need air conditioning, I need my rolly bag, definitely, and I need my damn pillow. All right. These are the non-negotiables. Thank you so much. And it's so funny, too. I was just listening to the podcast you put out a couple days ago about the spoons. I have a collection of spoons. A big one. A big one.
Tell me about the time change. Did that happen?
So I'm in Portugal, so it happened on Sunday, but I didn't change my calendar. I just kept it the same. So for me, it's gone back an hour, but for no one else, it hasn't. So I've missed all my appointments yesterday. I was like, oh no. So good luck, change the clocks.
That's brutal. So there isn't an international time for everybody to change their clock?
Think so. I know that it's 1 week a year. I have a 7 hour difference between my family, and that's this week right now. And I'm just like, it makes no sense. And then it'll be on Sunday, it'll be back to normal again. So I'm just like, okay, I need to write in my calendar every week at this time of year, change everything back an hour.
Right. So what is 7 hours away from Portugal where your family is?
California. So Lake Tahoe area.
Oh, that's nice there.
Yeah, it is. A little cold for me. I don't really do winter anymore, it turns out.
So what part of Portugal are you in?
I'm in Madeira. So like 600 miles from mainland any direction.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic. I found that the people I met in Portugal were amongst the nicest, sweetest people and most accommodating I've ever known.
So nice, so sweet. They will go out of their way to help you out, even if they have no idea who you are. Like, they're very nice. I love it.
And they're always pushing their sardines, right? That's like one of the biggest, most popular foods there, fresh sardines that they grill.
They're delicious. I love them. We're doing it all wrong in Nevada, that's for sure. Not that there's sardines really there, but...
Yeah, well, people hear the word sardines, they're thinking of that stuff in the can, which is nothing like the fresh version.
No, not at all. Yeah. They're still good, right? They're just not as good as the fresh ones.
Right. Well, Danielle Blum is how you pronounce your last name, yeah?
Correct.
It comes from the word flower.
So here, everyone thinks my last name is Bloom, and Bloom is a really hardcore, like, methamphetamine drug here. So every time I'm at the bank, they're like, oh, Bloom is so bad. I'm like, well, it's not my drug. I didn't bring it over. Like, I have nothing to do with that. But yes, it is bad.
Was your name Bloom when you were growing up, but you changed it to Blum now that you're in Portugal?
No, it's always been Bloom. Just here, they always pronounce it as Bloom. And then I just get the little knot on the wrist, like, okay, sorry, that's not your last name, but it's the biggest drug here. It's a real problem. I'm like, I just want to change in my cash, please. I need a lecture.
How long have you lived in Madeira?
Just about 5 years, actually. We came over during COVID and then moved in January of 2021.
What do you guys do there in Portugal?
We have a big game fishing charter, so we go hit the big monsters like 1,000-pound marlins and 300-pound tunas, just obscenely large fish.
So you like deep sea fishing personally?
I like to be on the boat and see the dolphins and all the other sea creatures. I like to eat the seafood, not all of it. We don't save the marlins, like we catch and release those, but like the tunas and stuff, yes. But for me, I don't need to catch the fish. I'll take the videos. I'll be on the shore eating or in the boat eating the snacks, but I don't need to catch the fish. People pay us to go catch the fish, so they can do that.
I see. So you caught big fish in your past?
I have not, no.
Okay, I was going to ask to see your guns.
Definitely. Yeah, no, they're not
there.
There
You go. What's it like being on board a fishing charter? When someone does catch a big fish, do you then offer to have your chef or someone aboard fillet it and slice it up and cook it?
Oh, yeah. Well, first it's just chaos because everyone's so excited. And then depending on the size of the fish, it could take 1 hour or less, or it could take 5 hours. So it really depends on who's in the chair and if they have it in them. And then, yeah, we could cut it up right there for you and have some sashimi, but we usually wait till the next day just because it's a little bit better tasting. So we'll usually make poke bowls and take those on the boat, or we'll take some to the restaurant and they'll cook it up for us right there too. So it's an experience, definitely.
So when people are catching the fish, are they doing it mostly for sport than for the actual food?
Yeah, most people that come here want to catch the huge marlins because this is one of the only places in the world where you can catch fish that big. But the tunas are definitely a nice bonus. They haven't really been here this year, but they're a bit more of a fight. So it takes a lot more manpower to get these giant tunas. So when you do get it to the boat and then you get to take it home and eat it, it's like, yes, so human of me to do this, but it's fun.
Now, I'm guessing that you've been in Portugal for 5 years. Is that something that has forced you to learn Portuguese, or did you already know it?
I definitely did not know it, and I'm still learning it. It is not an easy language. There's a lot of mixtures of because it was such a melting pot back in the day. There's the language itself. You can see so many different dialects of different languages. Madeira Portuguese has its own. Everyone makes fun of it. It's just like, that's the caveman Portuguese. But if you learn it here, then you can understand any Portuguese. But I speak with my little community here. But if I go to the other side of the island and speak the Portuguese I know, I get such a hard time. They're like, that is not this. You don't speak that on this side. Like, you're speaking Conyish Portuguese. Like, okay, so I guess I could just speak English and I won't get hassled because I'm using the wrong term for coffee or something. But I'm trying. My Spanish has gotten a lot better and I'm slowly absorbing it, but I still kind of just black out when I talk. I have conversations, but like afterwards, I'm like, don't know exactly what we were talking about. I got the gist, I think, but
I had heard back when COVID was happening and people were starting to scramble and think about becoming expats somewhere, that Portugal became really popular during that time. Is that something that you found? You see a lot of Americans there and a lot of
Brits, yes, but this was one of their most popular like holiday vacation places for a really long time. The first time I came, I had never even heard of Madeira. I had no idea where it was, like no idea. We came to go fishing actually. And then once I got here and we moved here, I think I met one or two Americans for like the whole first 2 years. And then a big influx came probably around 2022. A lot more people came because they had the golden visa opportunity. Everyone was sick of the shit, the States. So everyone kind of came over. So now it's interesting because I could pick out an American accent. Like I know I have one here, but it's like you don't really notice that when you're living in America. And now I'm like, oh, Texans, oh, New Yorkers, like sarcasm, here we come.
So your ears become attuned to various different accents.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you snag a visa? Is it a work visa or are you becoming a resident, or how does that work for an American who moves to Portugal?
I'm here as a resident. I will be getting my citizenship next year, actually. So it used to be 5 years and now legislation is changing it to 10. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get citizenship, but I get to have dual citizenship as well. So once I have that, then I can live anywhere or work anywhere in Europe and then also have my American passport. They're making it a little bit harder, which stinks because it was so nice, like being able to come in, like the language, you have to take a language and cultural test, which are, I mean, everyone should know it anyways. They're just making that a little bit more difficult. And then just the standards of coming in and then staying here as well for the whole 10 years instead of just 5.
Right. Well, that is a fantastic place to be. So you're really fortunate. How do people respond to you and react to you being an American?
Well, at first it was surprise because there was no Americans here. So everyone was a lot of questions and then like, oh, where are you from? Like what part? And then a million questions about Trump. And now it's much more common. So people are just like, pretty much now it's like, oh, there's so many Americans here. It went from known until now it's like, oh, another American. But we have, like our company, we have Portuguese people that work with us. Like we speak the language, like we're trying to really immerse ourselves here. So we don't get hassled as much. I mean, even if we didn't speak Portuguese, they would just be like, oh, tourists, like whatever, make them happy. So I find when I speak Portuguese to them, they look at me like I'm crazy because they're not expecting me to speak Portuguese. So then we look at each other. So I'm like, oh, did I say it wrong? And they're looking at me like, what language are you speaking? And then we kind of like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's fun though. It's a huge mixing pot. Like there's so many different people here from all over the place. Like you go to dinner with your friends and there's like 5 or 6 different languages being spoken, which is so different than in the States where there's like maybe 3. And you're usually probably all still speaking the same language, but here it's like there'll be German over here, Polish over here, UK over here, Australian over there. It's a little mixing pot, which I love because I'm constantly learning about new things that I'd have no idea before. You're like, oh man, this is such common sense. Why don't we do this in America?
So we touched on the fact that you are a creative entrepreneur with the deep sea fishing charter service that you do, but you're really a thriller author, right? Is that what you're doing mostly these days?
Yes, that's what I'm focusing on right now. The fishing we kind of built that up so it kind of runs itself now. So I have more time to focus on my little creative adventures. So yeah, I wrote my first thriller novel. It will be out to the world on November 18th. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, it's been an adventure. So a learning curve for sure, and just trying to figure out that whole landscape. But it's been so much fun, and I met so many amazing people along the way too that I'm just like, okay, now I have another story idea. So it's been great.
Introduce us to the name of your upcoming book and then tell us a little bit about the thriller genre.
My book is Fragments of Affection. The main character has dissociative identity disorder, which is formerly known as multiple personalities. However, they're the hero of the story, not the bad guy. So kind of twisting the narrative on the typical, mental health narrative that's going on in media. So I've interviewed over 100 people living with the disorder to really kind of get my character as accurate as possible for something that is so different for everyone else, but just to write a character that's respectful as well as accurate and authentic. So by doing that, I've created this little community of people that I would have never been able to probably meet because they're from all over the world. But we've really made this place that we can share. Like I'm doing an anthology now, which was unexpected with people that have helped me write this story. Now they're submitting poetry and letters to society and things they just wish people knew about living with this diagnosis that maybe they're too afraid to share on their own, or maybe their family doesn't know. And now this has been a whole healing process for a whole bunch of people that have never experienced it this way. So it kind of started out as a fiction project, a story that told me it needed to be told. And now it's morphed into something so much bigger. So I'm really excited to get it out there. And hopefully the people that have worked with me on it too are proud, and I'm doing them a good service instead of a disservice by putting it out there.
Dissociative disorder, that's something that you live with or have been living with?
I do not have it. I don't know how this story planted a seed in my head. It just kind of revealed itself piece by piece. And then once I realized the character had this diagnosis, I was like, okay, well, I need to do research because this is something. So to get DID caused by severe trauma at a very young age, like usually before 6, that causes your brain to split and disassociate in times of bad things happening. So I needed to make sure that when I did this, I wasn't writing in a way that makes abusers the hero or something like this. I had to really be careful with that. It was really crazy to see how many people are actually living with this diagnosis. Like some people say it's not real, like some even like professional psychologists, like there's always a debate if this is a real thing or not. And the fact that so many people have come forward just for me to interview with this, and it's just so not talked about and like the root cause of what's happening. So that's something where we do need to change the narrative because some of this could have been prevented. Like if people had spoken up about it, but they don't have a place to do that or to feel comfortable doing that. So hopefully this kind of makes people feel that maybe they're not so alone and it is okay to speak up when bad things are happening. So trying to just give a little bit more awareness out there for the bad things that are going on around us every day that we don't even know.
Yeah. So in Fragments of Affection, your book, I take it that it has a lot of violent and very adult themes running throughout. Is that something that you specifically worked on when you were figuring out what you were going to write?
Yes. So, I mean, how you get it, like the things that go on, the trauma that happened, I have to have that in the story because otherwise you have to know like the root of things of this. But I try to do it in a way that was left to the imagination. You kind of know what it is without being like, oh, this terrible thing happened and this and that. No graphic detail of that. It's more implied, but it is in there. It is a little bit of a steamy, sexy story because that's what sells and like that's what's going out there. So it also explores like LGBTQ, polyamorous relationships, like the relationships you have with yourself. So it's a pretty psychological in a way of just like going deep in the inner psyche of yourself and just realizing like how you can move forward and then giving it the thriller twist too. But the twist is that they're the good guy, not the bad guy. And the bad guy, he has his own other mental things going on, obsession and all of that. So kind of you're not expecting the turnout to be what it is. And there is a little bit of graphic violence, but that isn't like the climax of the story. Like it's happening then and there. And it's nothing too gruesome because I would pass out writing it.
You know, when I was growing up, when the term thriller came up, I always kind of associated that with horror movies. What does the thriller genre now really project? I
would say now it's more of the suspense. There should maybe be a little bit of, like, if you're going into it, you should know there's going to be maybe a little bit of blood and guts or death talk or bodies or something. I think now it's kind of going into that suspense genre with a little bit of horror, and horror's coming back right now too. So I think we're going to see a lot more horror coming out there versus just thriller. Logical thriller is more of like the mind games, trying to predict like the who or why you did it, like going into the inner psyches of that versus the murder mystery where you're just being like, okay, put the clues together to do this. So it's more of a inner journey as well. I think I could be wrong on that, but that's how I interpret it.
Are there authors, whether they're in the thriller genre or not, that kind of influenced you to be able to write this?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So Colleen Hoover, which she writes a whole bunch of different things, and she's on all the films now, a little bit of romance. She has a little bit of a darker book called Veridity. It had me feeling a lot of emotions throughout it. Like I loved it, I hated it, I really hated it, then I loved it again, and it kind of went on to writing the darker side. What can I write that is so completely different? Being a writer is like being an actor. You go on stage and you're personifying something different. So to be a writer, you have to go in and find these things to write about. So you're kind of exploring maybe something I wouldn't explore before. So I really like that idea. I was like, okay, I do poetry. I love rom-coms. Like that's this. Like, how can I challenge myself to kind of get on the darker side of things? And like, how can I get in the head of that character to make it believable? Like, I don't know how to, I'm not a mass murderer. I don't know how to go do these things, but I'm like, okay, how can I be creative and also accurate and then also be in this mindset? Because my main character has multiple personalities. So within the book, that character has 5 people with just in that character. So how can I make each character their own character, but be within one body and do that? So it's really getting into character. And like I said, yeah, doing the little bit darker side of things that I wouldn't normally do. I think that's why I write though, is just to get different perspectives and open my eyes to things I might not have seen in, any other way.
I love the way that you brought your entrepreneurial spirit and experience into bringing this book to market. You had it on a Kickstarter operation, is that right?
I did.
Tell us about that, because that's a very unusual method.
So Kickstarter, if you don't know what it is, go check it out. It's a super cool platform and it's not just about books. It's about cool ideas, bringing games to life or making, a new backpack or a travel bag. It could be for any new idea. And it's a way just kind of to get seed money to get this off the ground. So random people will go on and be like, oh, I love this idea. Here's some money. And then when the product is made, you get that product. So for books with Kickstarter, you're usually making a really beautiful custom. It's not just your regular paperback. It's going to have like the foil and the bookmark and like maybe for me, I had a cover specific only to Kickstarter. So if you didn't buy my book on the Kickstarter, you don't get this version of the book anywhere else. So it's like an exclusive thing. And for me too, I really had fun making the covers, but everyone's like, you have to pay for a professional. Like you have no idea what you're doing, which I don't. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I kind of got attached to this cover I made and I couldn't really put it out there. I paid another designer to make another one, which was good and much more on brand. But this was a way to still do all the creative stuff and design this and design that and make the book exactly how I've always imagined it for a select group of people that are also interested in like that beautiful book. So that was really cool just to see first if it's the interest in what you're writing about. And Kickstarter is not really a great platform for thrillers yet. It's more fantasy because those are prettier books. Like you don't really want like blood all over and like, knives. Like maybe you do. I do sometimes. So it's just a different platform. I think it's really cool to get some cool swag or chapters you might not get anywhere else. If you have an author going on Kickstarter, they're really going to make it worth it. Like maybe do Zoom calls or something like that. So it's just taking the reading thing and making it into such a bigger experience.
So you've seen other authors doing that before you started Kickstarter for your book.
It's becoming more popular. One man just made like $4 million on Kickstarter, dropping 4 books. So definitely it can be a way to make a big profit. A lot of people are just doing it to cover costs or to make a pretty book. Like I can't wait to see this book on my shelf how it is, but I also can't wait to see, the regular paperback. So it just kind of depends on your reading style.
I'm seeing as you move around, Danielle, you have a lot of ink. You have many, don't you?
Oh, I do. Yes.
Tell us about those, because I'd like to ask my guests, because when I see them, it's interest.
This little guy is my little red horse. I was living in Nicaragua and my roommate at the time, like his dream was to ride a horse from Colombia to Peru and just go. And while I was living with him, he hatched this plan and I was like, cool. He's like, you want to come? And I'm like, I would love to, but I am not prepared to go ride a horse for 5 months through South America. Like my Spanish is rusty, like no way. But I watched him make this plan and then fly down there, go buy a horse, start going through. Now he's on the longest rider guild, which is a huge accomplishment. When he had a spare chance, he would just update his blog. And on his blog, he made an argument about a man that was wrongfully imprisoned in Afghanistan. And somehow Amnesty International got a hold of this blog and was able to release this man from prison. So it was just, I was like, okay, so follow your dreams, because that's what he was doing. The little hieroglyphic itself means journey. And then if you're doing what you want to do, you never know the ripple effect and how it could go on. And the horse was named Red. So that's why I have my little red horse. It's like my reminder
Okay.
to you do you and see what
Yeah.
happens because you just never know.
And what about this, that's kind of scripty thing on here?
Yeah. So my best friend and I were at a festival in Costa Rica and we got a henna. So when we held hands, it was a
My
heart.
gosh.
So we
Wow.
got matching ones. And then I got my little garlic clove because I love garlic. So,
Okay.
morning, I will smell like it because I'm probably eating it all. So I love the garlic.
Garlic lovers are you.
Yes, a big fan of garlic and onion too. I don't know. I just love it. Yeah. And then I have like my tree roots to stay grounded. There's always a new day. This one was a heart, so love when
Hey,
you
watch
hate, but
it.
now it kind of now it kind of looks like Saturn. And then I got my trees because I live between the beach and in the mountains. I don't know. There's a lot going on. I have a
So
few
it's
this one
all
you'll
over?
appreciate. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this one. It looks like rainbow
Right.
saggy balls,
Yep, yep.
but it's a psychedelic pickle boomerang. So
Oh, speaking of
yeah, traveling
psychedelics,
tattoos.
is Portugal open to things like that?
I believe so. I'm pretty sure that you're not getting into a lot of trouble. I mean, you obviously can't be selling it or mass producing it, but I think if you get caught on the street with something, you'll be okay. Unless it's
Right.
bloom. If you get caught with that shit, you're in trouble.
How do you handle writer's block, Danielle, when it comes up? I know that you're finished with your Fragments of Affection book, and I know that you're probably starting on something else. So how do you handle writer's block when it comes up?
Ooh, go do something else. I really like to finger paint. Finger painted this wall behind me, actually. So for me, doing something that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, procrastinating at its finest, is usually how I get through things. It's probably not going to be when I want it to be done. I'll probably be up at 3 a.m. and be like, ooh, I'm ready to write now. And in my phone, taking notes. So there's not really a cure-all, but if I do get really, really stuck doing something else, it doesn't have to be creative. It could be cooking, it could be eating, going for a walk, anything like that.
You mentioned that you love food. Are you much of a cook?
But yeah, I love cooking. I love eating. I love reading about food. I love it all. It's my
Okay.
favorite pastime, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, now you're really, really wading in my territory. What have you eaten today?
What did I eat today? Hold on. Oh, so I have my edits back from my editor. So I did everything I was not supposed to do as procrastinating. So I went out for lunch and I had beef tongue stew with roasted potatoes, some sort of macaroni, something with sauce, and a salad, which was delicious. And then I haven't actually eaten anything yet, but it is going to be dinner time as soon as I'm done with this. And I have no idea what's on the menu. So I'm excited about that.
You're just going to play it by ear, fast and loose, are you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm playing Chop Kitchen most days. So the groceries here, like if you go get meat, you can't just let it sit in your fridge for weeks on end. Like if you're not eating it by day 2, it needs to be either frozen or eaten. And same with the vegetables. So you have to go to the market every few days to get some stuff. So who knows what I have down there right now too. The Instapot's great. 'Cause if it is frozen, you can just, get a meal in an hour if you're desperate. So
I love that old world feeling of going to the market and picking up what's fresh at any given time.
it kind of sucks because it's a drive, 20 minutes, not that bad of a drive. But now there's traffic now because everyone knows about Madeira. No one knows how to drive stick shift and no one knows how to use roundabouts. And it stick shifts on hills. So it can be an adventure getting to the grocery store, but it is nice. We grow a lot of the stuff on the island. We do a lot of trading. Like if we have fish in our freezer, we'll just go give it to the coffee guy and then he'll bring us potatoes or the taxi will bring us squash. So we do a lot of bartering, which is really fun because you never know what you're going to get. Half the time they tell me and I'm like, okay, who knows what this is? And it's the most delicious snack I've ever had. So I'm like, okay, go back to that neighbor, bring my notebook to get the recipe, see what it is, translate it to make sure it's right, because I definitely have mixed up a few ingredients before thinking they were something else. So it's always a learning experience.
Did your love of food at any given point kind of work its way into your book?
Yes and no. I'm going to say it made its way into a lot of the cut parts of the book because it was really fun to write. I really like doing it, but that's not thriller. Like describing food and how it tastes and all of that is not really the thriller genre. It kind of slows it down. So I have it cut out to maybe do for a side book from a different character where it will be a little bit more appropriate, like to talk about all of that. But yeah, I have on the Kickstarter, I did a little recipe book of the few food items I included in the story. So I'm like, okay, you don't know what it is. It's not described in the book, but here's the recipe. Go try it. 'Cause it's one of my favorites. So that was kind of a fun thing.
So inside your home kitchen, is it a small kitchen or something you can work around pretty well?
It's kitchens, technically. So they do espetada here, which is basically a giant fire pit that you do giant shish kebabs on. So we
Uh-huh.
have an indoor one. So because we have that, and I don't know if, okay, you can't see my desk, but it's quite large. It's like 8 feet. So my table in that kitchen is also 8 feet. So we made that to our Americanized kitchen with the 6 top stove, the big oven, the massive fridge that we had to cut a hole in the wall to put it in. So there was space for it. So we have a really big one, but right now we don't have the propane set up for that. So we're now still cooking on the stove top on the convection oven, which is like tiny, doesn't cook as well. So we're kind of splitting. I don't know what's going on with that. We're trying to fix it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have like the whole using my cast irons on the big thing. So I'm really excited about that.
So that's exciting to hear that you can get the big honkin' American appliances now in Europe.
Yes, we were desperate. Those were kind of like the refrigerator we got at the house we moved into was like this big. Like it was
Right,
so
right.
small. It's like you cannot, and the freezer was smaller, and the oven could cook one tray of vegetables, like one serving for one person. It was not enough. I was like, this has got to. So we got the biggest one we could find. It was a little bit of a mission, but that the refrigerator, I think we got one of two on the island, and then we also got the washer and dryer because there is only a couple months here where it's raining, but we have big blankets, and it's like if it's raining, I can't wash my clothes because everything's humid all the time. So
Right.
that was another thing that I'm like, this is like why don't people have a dryer here like for these few months? Like, you really need one.
You know, a few minutes ago, you said that you had a beef tongue dish, which is kind of very matter of fact. What's the most wait, what am I eating here moment that you had while you've been in Europe?
I've been in Europe. I don't know. I could read the menu in most languages, so I'm not
Huh?
usually too caught off guard now. I would say probably the first time I had a red prawn in Italy and it came out raw and it was delicious. I could eat certain shrimp raw like that. It was so good. So I think that was kind of like, I didn't expect it to be so delicious. I also didn't expect it. I don't know what I expected. So I'd say that'd probably be the one that really caught me off guard. But once you know what it is, it's like, oh yeah, this is so tasty. But I had not seen that in the States before.
I think that's called in sushi places. I think it's called sweet shrimp, isn't it? Where the shrimp is
Mhm.
raw, but they fry the head.
I'm not sure if it's the same thing, actually. I know what you're talking about, though. That is also delicious. This one,
Yeah.
they usually take it and like smash it down. So it's almost like a ceviche kind of.
Mm.
So there's no heads on it or anything. It's a super thin layer. And they top it with, in Spain, they top it with other things than they do in Europe. The one in Europe was like a whole one, or not in Europe, in Italy, excuse me, was like a whole one. Yeah, much more common in Spain than here. It's too deep here. We don't really get many shrimps, like fresh shrimp, because it's such a high peak where we are and it goes so deep so fast. Like getting to the bottom is very difficult. It's like 5,000 feet, very
Oh,
close to
wow.
shore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That moonrises in foreign places have changed you. What about moonrises in foreign places are different than U.S. moonrises?
Well, I think what I meant by that was it always depends on your company, right? So in
Yeah.
the States, there I'm working a lot at night. That's regular. So when I do kind of pop out, it would be 4 a.m. getting out of work and it'd be a full moon and smelling like damp soil in Tahoe. And it was just like, oh man, like this makes working that shift so nice is to come out and feel this freshness and this smell. And then here, like I was just moved into my bedroom upstairs, my master bedroom, and I could see the moon going through across my window pane, like going this way. And I was like, well, this is such a different experience with that. Like I'm literally laying in bed and now I get to see this. And it was the first time I've seen it, if ever, like going through the window. It's like, what are the chances? And then in Norway, there was a perfect like full moon and then also the aurora, which is super rare to see both of those also from another bedroom. And it's like a whole nother level of appreciation. So because you just don't know what you're going to see. And then it's always like, surprise, here I am. Or not there at all when you are looking everywhere. So
Wow. Now, you're a self-described global travel expert. What's one destination that surprised you the most and why?
I would say Uganda. I don't know. I didn't do a ton of research when I went. I just, figured dry, deserty, safari, Africa. And I was blown away by how lush and green and how many tea plantations they were. I've never seen a tea plantation and they just went on for so long. And it was just like, it blew my expectations because my expectations were not there slash also incorrect. I just pictured it to be desert dry the whole time. And there was a lot of that, but there was just
Yeah.
like and the people were so nice. I really loved it. If it was ocean nearby, I could consider going there for a long term.
Okay,
live
so you
in.
need to be near the water.
I do. Well, yes, now, yes, I know. Because I grew up in Lake Tahoe too, so I didn't really know that water was such a big part of who I am. And I went to the Azores this year and I saw a lake for the first time because Madeira doesn't have really lakes. So you have like a pond here or
Right.
there. And I had such an emotional moment over a lake. And I was like, oh gosh, like I miss lakes. Like who would have thought? Like this is weird that I miss this. I'm like, oh, we're going to come back and we're going to go camp on this lake next year. Like, and it was just like a different thing. So yeah, I like water. I don't like being cold. So usually where I'm at, the ocean is warm and it's warm weather.
So you're a warm weather girl who loves the water. That totally makes sense.
Mm.
You do travel planning for people, so that kind of like harkens back to the days when people had travel agents. It seems like since the internet has taken off that fewer and fewer travel agents exist. Tell us about that.
That's definitely correct. It's kind of hard too because there's very few travel companies that you go to that the per trip is actually making a good amount of money. It's usually like, okay, I'm selling this package for you and I'm going to make a little percentage off that. And then I did that for a while, but I did it as satisfying. So now I
Right.
do custom itineraries. So you can tell me your trip. I could do the research for you. It's more of a consultant than like, I'm not going to book your trip for you. I'm not going to take your credit card information, but I will make all the arrangements. I'll tell you where you should go. I'll get you in contact. And then basically all you have to do is fill in the things. Cause like getting a call at 5 a.m. because someone's plane's, something happened and there's nothing I can do about it. And they're yelling at me because they're pissed off because I did the booking. Like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, that's your problem now. I'll take my little fee. I will go above and beyond to make sure your trip is awesome, but I'm not dealing with any logistical problems. So it's just too much work for just people being angry all the time. And so now it's just like, hey, I'll do this and I'll contact the hotels and I'll usually make sure they get a little special treat or something like a little personal touch. So at the end, it's worth their time hiring me to plan this for them. But a lot of people just hate planning trips, just
Right.
everything about it. They absolutely hate. And I love doing that. Find me the smallest little hole in the wall place over here that you have to take a boat from here for a taxi. Like that's what I'm into. So I have found that if that's what you want, like we will do that.
What is your top non-negotiable travel hack or tip that you could give anyone who might be a long-range explorer?
Take your damn pillow, your actual bed pillow, the
Oh,
big
no
one.
kidding.
It's not an extra item. So one, when you're stuck in the middle seat, you put it on the tray table and you just go like this and pass out. It might get a little drool on it, but like you're comfortable. You're not breaking your neck. You're not leaning on someone. Always have at least 3 pillowcases though, because it's going to be at the airport, right? It's going to be on the ground. You don't want that on your face. So you peel it down when you put your face on there and you have a nice clean one. And then, depending on how many flights you have, maybe you have a few more layers. You could also kind of sneak like your big jacket in there if no one's paying attention. When I go back to the States a lot, I usually have to bring a big sweater or a big jacket. And so I just take a little couch pillow and I stuff my jackets in the bottom, put the half couch pillow on there, put the pillowcases on because then if they ask you like it's a pillow, but really I've got my hot layers underneath there. So I have not had a problem with it so far. If you get in trouble though, it's not my fault. And I
So
just put
don't
a little
blame it on
bungee
Danielle,
cord.
everyone.
Yeah. And I just put a little bungee cord around it. So it's just tied onto my rolly bag. Just carrying a pillow is a pain. So yeah, I got my whole little system. That's the one hack I would say is definitely worth it because you could sleep anywhere with it and slash use it as a suitcase.
So if we start seeing people schlepping their pillows around at the airports and so on,
Mhm.
we'll know it was because of you.
And I'll high five you on the way. We'll do a little pillow bump. Like, woo!
Right. It's Danielle. Now, if you had to choose only one region of the world, and I know you're probably a bit biased because of where you're at, where would you choose to explore for people who haven't really done a lot of travel, but they want to have something new and different?
I would say Southeast Asia, most likely. One, it's gorgeous. Two, the food is obscenely insane. Like, I don't know if you like spicy, like, which did you know if you eat spicy food, it actually lowers your body temperature? That's why a lot of
Right.
these places have the spice. So that's interesting. There's so much to see, so many different cultures. Generally, everyone's super nice and helpful. And yeah, you can kind of right now at least go a little bit more bang for your buck. I don't know how much longer that'll last, but I'd say that's a good starting point is probably there. Or Central America. I like Central America as well, but the food's better in Asia. I worked at a cooking school in Thailand. So like learning from like the Thai, like their old family traditions and getting family recipes passed down. Like that was really amazing. Going to a little village in the middle of nowhere that had no power and they just had concrete floors put in. So they had a 2-day party where everyone came and they slaughtered 2 pigs and you're just like jungle food and doing stuff like that. So Thailand was really great for that. Cambodia had really great dumplings, but China's kind of come over and taken Cambodia over now. So maybe the dumplings are better, but I'm not really sure if the culture is still going to be the same as it used to be.
I'm stuck on the fact you had 70 people travel across the world to come celebrate with you. I can't even get 5 people over here for dinner.
Well, yeah. Well, that was a while ago now. That was like 7 years ago now. But at the time, I had been traveling so much, and all of my friends were travelers. So it was like any excuse. And Bali was the most affordable for everyone in the world, wherever they were. And I gave everyone like a year and a half notice. So originally I thought it was going to be 12 people. And that's when I was like starting to plan. I was like, hey, cool, 12. And then it was 50. And then by the time it's said and done, there was 70 people there from all walks of life, like from so many different times. So yeah, that was super special. And having best friends meet best friends that met other best friends, and now they're traveling together and now they're married. I'm like, wait a second, I didn't even get invited on that trip. You wouldn't even know each other without me, but it's awesome. I love it.
What a great memory that is.
Yeah, it was a place too. A lot of us haven't been before. My mom came, my sister came, my mom's friends that have known me since I was in diapers, they were there. And then they were meeting these people that they had heard about for so long, or some of my friends that had stayed with my family at times. Re-meeting in a new place was really cool.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the cost of living in places like Portugal where you're at, and then compare and contrast that to Southeast Asia, which everyone thinks that is very, very inexpensive, amongst the most inexpensive places in the world.
Yeah, well, a bottle of wine here costs €3, 4 for maybe a little bit more expensive. If you're going really fancy, 18, but anything higher than that is like way too much. Meal, like for what I had today was $6.50, and it was a giant plate with tongue stew. It was a local plate. In Thailand, depending on where you are, you can have a meal for 32 cents. If you're eating street food, which I highly recommend, everything's cooked at a very high level. Like don't eat the salad, but anything like that, you can literally get it for less than $1 per meal. You could really splurge and spend maybe 20. It has been a while since I've been down there though. It's 2018, so that could be inaccurate now. We splurged on a nice room and it was $27 with air conditioning. And it was like, "Ooh, this is amazing." Dollar's down a little bit from when it was back then, but I think you'd still be able to get by. But now with Airbnb everywhere and the globalization and digital nomad visas like being more popular, you're seeing people go places for longer now. And it's changing the dynamic a little. It's pushing a lot of locals out, so you're going to get a lot of pushback because the Airbnbs, you can make more money in a weekend than you do all month for renting it out. The world is changing, so we'll see how it all kind of plays out in the next few years when more and more people will be living more and more places.
Do you think that a lot of people are leaving the U.S. because of all the various stuff that goes on here?
There is a handful, I think, yes. A lot more talking about it that will never do anything about it. Like it's wishful thinking, but they don't have any desire or know how to get out of there. It's not as easy to do anymore. So there's kind of a lot more people are turning away from Portugal, and the prices of everything have gone up exponentially, especially housing. We got in before everyone else did, so we got a really nice deal on our house. But right now in my neighborhood, everything's going for like 1.2 to 2.5 million, and it's like shacks. So it really depends on where your location is. We just happen to be in this hot spot where everyone wants to be at the moment. So we'll see. Like there's a demand here, a huge demand, and people are building and building and they'll run out of space at some point. So
you go to different parts of the world because you want to see the charm, you want to see the history, and you want to like check out the culture and all that. And then you end up seeing a lot of the same places everywhere, the same kind of strip malls, the same kind of Starbucks. They get a lot of shit more than anyone else, but you know what I'm saying. It's like the same stuff is in every major city.
Yeah, you're really kind of losing the cultural identity of places. Like here, the city has, I think there's a McDonald's, there's one in the airport, I think there's a Starbucks here or there, but they don't have fast food really. There's no delivery. I'm not calling up someone and ordering pizza tonight. Most restaurants are going to be closed at 8:30. Most restaurants have the same exact menu. So you go here because this is good there. This is good at this place. So you go there. But now it's like the grocery stores that are popping up. They're putting one right up the street, which is going to be great. Now there's a whole another slew of traffic coming by. It's going to be a lot louder. So it's just the more people everywhere. So, and like I said, we moved during COVID. So we had the idea of this island place that no one
Yeah.
was at because we couldn't be here. Like we weren't even supposed to be there. Americans were red listed from Europe and they were like, come on in. So I was under this a whole different impression of what this place was. And then once COVID ended and so many people are on TikTok, that's when I meet Americans. I'm like, how did you find out about this place? And it's TikTok every time. So you get a huge young crowd of digital nomads coming in. They have a community here that's pretty helpful. Like they definitely throw a lot of parties. They bring a lot of people in, but they go and do clean up the beach or clean up the hikes. And they have like a nice community on that. But that's not everywhere. Some places they just come in and just tear it up and then leave. And then the next group comes and tears it up more and then leave. So
Overdevelopment is happening everywhere, even the most lovely, charming places around the world.
yeah, it's unstoppable, which is crazy too, because there's still so many people that literally have no homes anywhere.
What are your next steps then, Danielle? Are you writing something new? You pitching this book? What's the new and exciting coming up adventures?
Okay, so this one, wrapping this one, I mean, it's never done, right? Because you have to market pretty much your whole life forever. But I'm going to be doing a rom-com series, a little bit raunchy, very loosely based on my travels and just some of the crazy shenanigans I've gotten into. I was laying in bed one night and I had writer's block, and then that came through, and excuse my language, but this is what the character said to me. She said, "Hi, I'm Olivia Odell, Odelli for short. I have more rolls than a bakery truck, and I may be fat, but I sure know how to fuck." And that was like in the middle of the night. So then I was like, okay, so now I have this character that is constantly in the back of my mind, and it's just like, okay, this is going to be fun. She's kind of like a Bridget Jones, wild animal, but very humble and funny. So I'm really excited to kind of dig into that one just because it's, like I said, inspired by some of my travels. So this, like, that's the easy part because I live those, but now I get to flesh him out as this person who I am not and maybe get to do these fears and stuff like that. So I'm really excited because I've been going back through like the memory bank and I'm like, ooh, that story needs to be included somehow and do this. And she's definitely a little bit promiscuous. But I think that it right now sex sells, so she needs to be promiscuous. So
That's very saucy and sassy. That's a big part of your internal engine, isn't it? Even though it's maybe not who you are.
yeah, saucy definitely. So I'm excited. It's been fun. She came quite a while ago and she's been really trying to get me to do this. I did a short story for Author Nation, which is a writing conference happening this next week. I was in a romance anthology, so she did her little world. It's Odelli Unhinged. So now I'm excited to kind of focus on her. And it's a little bit of a change of a pace too, because this is like the thriller is a little bit darker. It's a lot more intense. It's a lot more feelings. This one's more of just kind of plug and play memories, add some fun. This is wild and sassy and so outgoing, whereas I am not. So I think it'll be really fun to write that character from that point of view and just kind of maybe say the things I would never say in real life, but she gets away with saying that and behaving in certain ways. So I'm pretty excited.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a really kind of fun, kind of naughty read, a page turner.
Yes, and the series is called Postcards from Rock Bottom. So it'll just be traveling through just different timelines in her life and doing all that little things and seeing what kind of shenanigans she gets into and gets out of.
So, Danielle, if people want to get a hold of you and see what you're all about, maybe check out all your tattoos, where do they go?
So on all my socials, I am Danielle Blum, Blum like a plum. And then www.danielleblum.com is where all my books are, retreats, all the random things that I'm doing, because there's a lot. Because I'm one of those people that has to have 25 balls going at once. So yeah, go check it out. And yeah, it's just I am Danielle Blum.
Well, that's fantastic. Danielle, do me a favor, won't you? Now that we've gotten to know each other a little bit, do a little promo. Say, I'm Danielle Blum, the author of blah, 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 and you're listening to or you're watching 50 Tastes of Grey with Matthew Gray and having such a great time and blah, and I'll use that as a promo on the show. Sound good?
All right. So just go now.
Do it.
All right. Hi, I'm Danielle Blum, and I'm here with Matthew Gray on 50 Taste of Grey. That's a tongue twister. Okay. Hi, I'm Danielle Blum, and I'm here with Matthew Gray on 50 Taste of Grey, talking books, fun, food, and all the fabulous things in life.
Awesome. Did you have a good time today?
I did. That was really fun. I said about 376 times, but I'm trying to work on that. I'm sorry for that, because you have about 3 hours of work in front of you now.
Well, I'll be spending time editing you. I'll have few glasses of wine, enjoying myself, and then hunting the ums of the world.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Danielle. Let's say aloha now to everyone, shall we?
Aloha.